What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of You for Vinland Saga Season 2. This is episode 9, and with me, as always, I have Bluespade.
hmm So I guess you could say this is the beginning of like how would you say it? Like pretty much like the reforging of Thorfinn as a character going forward.
Yeah, in a way. It's basically him reflecting on his past actions and, realizing he doesn't want to be that person anymore. Um, because as we know, ever since the ending, or Season 1, he has been, like, completely had no purpose in life and has just been living as an empty husk of a person, essentially.
Yeah, and essentially he and all the the amount of atrocities he committed while being under Askeladd at the time. Of course, like there were like a ton of atrocious things that Thorfinn committed while he was working with Askeladd at the time. Mostly because I guess in a way he was trying to train himself to go to fight Askeladd and kill him after what happened to his father.
He was
But of
also,
course,
like, biding his time until he could get an opportunity to actually kill Askeladd.
yeah, but unfortunately that never happened thanks to Canute. So this pretty much caused Thorfinn to go aimless for a little while until he ended up meeting Einar.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
so as we remember too, in the end of the last episode, Thorfinn and Einar got into a confrontation with the retainers because of them having pretty much destroyed their crops. And
Yeah.
Thorfinn gets, um, well, Thorfinn, I guess, instinctively kind of punched one of them, and he doesn't really realize what he's done until after he did it. And this, of course, causes well, I mean, of course he didn't want Einar to get involved in this fight, but he ends up kind of doing it himself, and I assume this is just because he doesn't want Einar to be the one to, um, I guess, to uh, initiate it or something. I'm not exactly sure, but
Yeah, I mean, even though he did end up punching one of them, it still led to that fight between the retainers
yeah.
and both of them.
So
Um,
yeah, so he gets knocked back, of course, and then in this episode, he kind of it's basically a lot of it is him having at first what seems to be a dream and then a nightmare because we kind of get a glimpse as to I guess what um like a dream of what his life would have been like had all this tragedy not have happened, had his father not been killed, and had he not gotten involved in Askeladd's mercenary group, I guess that he would have just been, I guess, maybe some kind of a humble farmer somewhere or something. Um, but of course, that quickly turns into the dream quickly turns into a nightmare.
yeah, once he sees a vision of his father, just basically telling him that he regrets that he wasn't there to help his son, or wasn't there to raise his son to be the person that he should have been. And this, of course, like you said, it leads into the nightmare, which is more of a continuation from the last episode, in which you see him basically falling down like a deep crevice
Yeah.
in which he was trying to climb out of. And this pretty much continues until he falls so far down that it just leads him to like what appears to be like a hellscape of undead soldiers that were killed in the past.
Yeah, basically, all these dead soldiers are just like endlessly fighting each other. Um, and one of the people fighting is actually Bjorn from season 1.
Yeah, and of course the other person who Thorfinn ends up seeing again in his vision is Askeladd of all people, the person that that Thorfinn has been wanting to kill throughout the entirety of the first season, but now instead of spewing any sort of hatred towards him, he just like it's almost like he's almost relieved to see Askeladd in this hellscape.
Yeah. And the whole time Blake Thorfinn is basically clinging onto the edge, and of course it's just all kind of metaphorical, like he's clinging on but he's about to fall off, and I guess this is kind of like a metaphor for Thorfinn. um he's just, at any moment he could slip back and become again that kind of person that he was before, I guess. That he could slip and fall back down and become one of these dead warriors, just kind of endlessly fighting.
Yeah, and initially, you know, Askeladd in this vision, like, initially taunts Thorfinn for everything that he's done over the years, but also,
Yeah.
at the same time, he senses some kind of regret. Um, but eventually, like, it gets to the point where these undead, I guess you could say these undead victims start climbing up on top of each other, just basically trying to force Thorfinn uh, into the ground.
Yeah, Thorfinn basically sees that there's a pile of bodies, and these are all the people that he has killed in the past, and they're trying to drag him back down. Um, and Thorfinn is just uh, he at first tries to kick them away, but then he eventually kind of gives in and sort of lets him climb on top all over him until Askeladd basically shouts at him that he needs to continue climbing up, uh, and kind of like bring the people he's killed with him, which
Yeah,
is also in a way, of course, metaphorical for him taking all those, uh, you know, it, I think it's really like, of course, him trying to kick them away. It's more so like him being afraid of confronting um, the past of him having killed all these people, him not wanting to face up to it, and then him just climbing back up. It's just him owning up to what he's done and facing the reality that he has killed all these people, and he has to pretty much he has to live with that.
yeah, and of course, this leads to Thorfinn, waking up from after being knocked unconscious for some amount of time, and of course, while Thorfinn was knocked unconscious, Einar was actually the person fending off the retainers himself, and which led to the retainers just walking away from the fight, leading to Einar pretty much bragging, that they won the fight over the retainers.
I was kind of
So yeah,
surprised that Einar is like it was still standing the whole time, like, and he managed to fight them all off
yeah,
without Thorfinn's help.
yeah, but of course, like, Einar does end up passing out from all the pain until Thorfinn wakes up, and they pretty much carry each other back to their homestead, and they pretty much Thorfinn telling Einar of all the horrendous things that he's done in the past, the amount of regret he feels about killing people that he's never known, personally, and just basically just killing them, without having to know their names of sorts. And
Yeah.
of course, this leads to Thorfinn making a vow that he will never take another life ever again, and pretty much just try to reforge himself into a new person at this point.
Yeah. And this is kind of the culmination too of what I think season two, with at least with Thorfinn's character, has been building up to, is him trying to become a different person, and him trying to like let go of, or well, not let go of his past, but trying to overcome what he's done in the past and trying to basically be a better person.
hmm Yeah, and of course, this also leads to another scene in which we see the retainers trying to report the violence against them. What was it? To Kettle?
Yeah.
But Patters, I guess, finds evidence that they were responsible for sabotaging Einar and Thorfinn's wheat fields, which leads which pretty much overturns the punishment against them for starting that fight.
Yeah. And of course they kind of decide that they're just going to say that a wild boar came and destroyed all the crops, and instead of that the retainers did it. I guess so, as a way to maybe, I guess, keep peace and order on the farm or something.
Yeah,
But yeah, and then of course well, yeah, we get a conversation between Patter and Kettle, basically saying that Patter is like, he knows it's going to what he did is going to make him an enemy in a way of the people on the retainers on the farm, because he ended up reporting them, but he's used to that kind of treatment as since he was a former slave.
yeah, and of course, we move on to one final scene with Einar and Thorfinn, pretty much continuing their work. with the old man. What was it? Svirkle. Um, for it, it's not essentially like I said. It's just the new beginning for Thorfinn to reforge himself into a brand new person.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see where his character goes from here, since he's trying to be, since he's at this, he's trying to be a different person. But we did kind of see that the progression of his character to becoming that kind of person, since like I would say like a couple episodes ago, he's, I mean, really, it's really like ever since he met Einar, he's slowly been, uh, becoming sort of a different person over time. Like we saw the progression of that since the beginning of this season. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm definitely interested to see like how they handle his character going forward. Of course, as a manga reader, I already know what's going to happen, but I'm definitely interested to see how the anime ends up portraying that. Um, and of course, as
yeah,
we know, according to the episode preview, we're going to be getting another episode with Canute, which makes sense because at this point we have been with Thorfinn's character for quite a bit, so we're finally gonna get back to him and see what's been going on with him. We got a little bit of him in that one episode, so I'm definitely interested to see what else he's been up to, and especially since he kind of took the role as the new king.
yeah. I'm also curious of like what the other characters like Thorkel is thinking about after working with with Canute all this time, because we all know that Thorkel is still not satisfied working with Canute after he's basically just like I guess in a way just handcuffing him in a way from fighting
Uh,
any battles that he wants to.
yeah, Thorkel is well, I guess it's not much of a spoiler, but I'll say like Thorkel is kind of is mostly kind of bored, if I remember correctly. He's looking for a fight, and there's not really, I think at this point in the story, there's not really any kind of war going on, so he's really just looking for any excuse to fight somebody.
Mhm.
So yeah, I am kind of interested to see him again, because I feel like he's not exactly the comic relief of the story, but it's always funny to kind of watch him because he's just so crazy. So he's an interesting character in that aspect. So
Mhm.
yeah, but I thought this is definitely like these last few episodes have probably been some of the best of season two, in my opinion, just because it shows the how Thorfinn has been progressing as a character, and it's just been really interesting to watch.
Yeah. In terms of like his vow to uh to not take another life, I am a little bit skeptical on that vow, because I
Well,
really do feel like this is going to get to a point where he will end up fighting again,
yeah, I
whether
definitely
he
feel
wants
like
to or not.
his ideology is going to be challenged quite a bit in the story going forward. Like he's gonna be like forced to make the decision whether or not to kill somebody or to commit violence again. Um, so yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how they handle that. Like if because they're definitely going to have some kind of conflict come up where he ends up having to fight, in self defense. Um,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about the episode. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
Yeah, it's been a good several episodes, pretty much focusing on Thorfinn and Einar. I think this is the best one that they've had ever since they introduced them to each other. And it's unfortunate that we will have to deviate a little bit, maybe an episode or two, to focus on Canute for a bit. But yeah, I think this is one of the best episodes featuring both Einar and Thorfinn.
Yeah, yeah, this is the one looking forward to the most, because I remember a lot about this part of the story,
Hmm.
and it's probably one of the highlights of the series. But yeah, so that all being said, guys, definitely looking forward to the next episode, and finally getting back to Canute. But yeah, I guess that all being said, until next week, we will see you all next time.